Hello, and welcome to today's session on The Writer's Room, which is an experiment in co-creative writing. The goal for it is to A, make some beautiful art, B, have a pretty low bar entry into learning how to do co-creative writing specifically, though I do believe there's a bunch of transitive skills that can be applied to other co-creative circumstances. The basic premise is twofold. One, it starts with the idea of the writer's box, which is an alternative to a classical view of writer's block, of not feeling inspired or just being tired of one's writing style or any other obstacle that might be occurring in the writing process. My approach is to reconceptualize it as a writer's box. And it's not to say that there's an insurmountable obstacle here, or even an obstacle that's inaccessible in terms of understanding it. Rather, viewing it as patterns of writing and approaches to creativity that may have wound up boxing the writer in so that they cannot see the clear view into how they might escape their box. And so the goal of the course is to conceptualize the writer's box and then to set one's eyes on the writer's room. What is the writer's room? In Hollywood or similar environments, a writer's room is the room where the writing team comes together to write for the series or the movie or the graphic novel or whatever is the creative project at hand. But it is a co-creative environment that has its own set of skills that are associated with navigating it effectively. So the goal is to get from the box to the room. This can work as a one-person activity in which they are seeking to diversify their creative outputs and their creative methods, but to do so in a concerted way that their diversification results in a single artifact that can be told as a story through multiple different perspectives and methods. How it started for me. I was invited to be a featured poet at an event, and I didn't have a set put together. And so I started trying to figure out how to make something new that would excite me to do and really bring out a novel spirit in me, because I hadn't really written in a while prior. And I didn't want to just go and do the same old stuff that I was used to doing. And in it, I started to conceive of, well, I'm in this room, like I'm in a room currently. And in this room, I feel somewhat boxed in. So I wanted to approach in such a way that I could break the walls of the box in all directions and expand the dimensionality of my creative mind and creative approach. As well, I have a very active physical presentation style. And so that became an element of it, is to tell a story through multiple poems and then to physically act out the process as I go. And it began with this question inside of me that I had about the art event I was going to. It's called Word Church. And so I was like, oh, I often hear this reference to church in relation to these poetry events. Why is that? And as I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, so what makes this churchy? Is there a statement about spirit and about the art that spirit might prefer? So that was my initiating question. It was like, well, if there is spirit and spirit has a preference for a kind of art, what kind of art does spirit prefer? And as I started playing with this idea and trying to like really broaden it to be as inclusive as possible, so it wasn't just saying, well, our art is what spirit prefers, but rather came up with these conditions. It's like, okay, one, it prefers when the audience shows up. That's its favorite type of art. It's like the audience gets there. Two, they like it enough to stick around. Three, everyone takes a turn on the stage. Four, something new is learned. Five, there's love. And in this way, it gave me this sense of holding space for the type of art the spirit might prefer, which wound up being just my description of every event I've been to that I've really enjoyed, no matter what the type of art was occurring. And as I came up with these different parts of like, well, it's just an event that people show up to, they stick around for, and everyone gets to take part in it. Like it's not just an audience and a performer, but rather they take turns getting on the stage and sharing their art together. And I'm learning something new by seeing these different styles and different presentation methods, and I'm feeling love as I do it. As I came up with that conception, I started to look at I'm in a room that has 6 sides to it. It's got 4 walls, 1 roof, and then the floor upon which I am doing the performance. So the concept became, okay, I have these 5 values, and the 6th value is that there's art happening at the time. That's the floor. So I can assign a value to each wall, to the roof, and then be the value that's doing the art, that's taking my turn on the stage when it's my turn. As I began to look at it in this way, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to write a poem for each one of these values, and that's going to be my set. And I want to do it in such a way that it breaks my box open, that I'm producing art that is different than what I've been doing before, and that each piece I do will be subtly different from every other piece in the set, and will not be explicitly saying, here's a story, and this one feeds into that one, feeds into that one, feeds into that one, but rather seek to weave into all of them through lines of congruity and interrelationality that I could indicate physically as I went. And so be telling a higher story throughout the entire thing and using self-referential symbolism, but told through a variety of lenses, and really challenging myself just to break my habits and build new ones through, say, trial by fire. And as I went, it became a very ecstatic experience for me in many ways. And it produced the best poem I've ever written as my 5th poem, my love poem to the event of art and to all participants. And it was such a wonderful experience for me. And it really opened my purview and broadened my horizon. And so it occurred to me, I could make this into a course that other people might like, and I could experimentally do it with them to see if we could do it together. So that is the basic background. And as it is, it comes in a pretty simple concept. And it would begin by the group coming together and choosing a question that they could not easily answer by themselves, and framing the question in such a way that they could answer it with 5 values of like, okay, I don't have an exact answer, but from my perspective, it has these many parts at least. And then 2, assign the values. Oh, no, sorry. 3 is assign the values to the walls in such a way you can create tensions between them. Say the wall to my left, the wall to my right. If I can find a balance, an equilibrium between these values so that they are tensioning with each other, and also the wall in the back and the wall in the front, same concept, then have the 5th, the roof, be that which can provide an overview of the story told through the 4 walls. And then the conclusion, getting off of the stage so that the next participant can get up onto it, is the piece, right? To weave that story throughout the whole thing. And then at the very end, and this is a part I've never done that is propositional to experiment, that each participant interpret the whole story and see if they can, from their perspective, reduce the 5 parts to a single answer, and understanding that the single answer will never be perfect because the question is too large for the box. The question itself breaks the box, but through the experience, maybe we can find a personal revelation that we can share with each other, and that will be the conclusion of the exercise. And so from here, I'm going to stop the recording and move into the exercise itself. Thank you so much for your time.